moving to Boise, Idaho, watch this first. Today I'm going to be sitting with Craig. He found us on YouTube and he just bought a $1 million home in River Park Estate with Boise River access. In the next few minutes, you're going to see the neighborhood that he vetted, real cost of living surprises, and how he decided Boise, not Utah, not Colorado, was the move for him and his family. He'll show you exactly what he did and the one thing that made Boise feel like home.
We checked out Colorado. We then went to Utah. Those areas were also very nice. I began to just on Realtor.com look at houses in Boise. There's only so many cities out west that have a good-sized population. We did not want to live in Podunkville. We still wanted a decent metropolitan area, a decent airport. I can fly back to Western PA for business. Boise fit that, and we started checking out homes here. At some point I saw an RV garage, and I definitely love that idea. Idaho people are definitely different in a good way. Once we came here, it felt like home.
I'm Craig Flood, your host of the Living in Idaho YouTube channel, and we help relocation buyers plan smart scouting trips, land the right neighborhood without the guesswork. Take us back to when you first started thinking about making a move to Idaho.
COVID really changed the world. After church, people we would typically hang out with, they maybe had moved, potentially left the church. My wife also had two very good friends. Literally one picked up, they moved to Fort Myers, Florida. The other one, they sold their business and moved to the Bitterroot Valley in Montana. And I began to realize I'm in the financial business that I didn't need to be in Western Pennsylvania all year round. So my wife was very interested in Florida to begin with. Then that kind of changed. She was interested in out west. I've loved out west for many, 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 many years. Love it out here. Love to fly fish, that type of thing.
And what drew you to Idaho compared to some other states? You mentioned Florida, Colorado.
Yeah.
What put Idaho on the map?
Florida there was a little bit of running there for a while. But there's things about Florida that just aren't great for us year round. A bug factor was definitely one thing for Florida. But my wife and I have been out west. We've vacationed out west. My wife absolutely loves the Tetons. And we had spent some time in the Salt Lake area. And I had jokingly said multiple times, I can understand why the Mormons just stopped here.
Yeah.
You got the lake after that. You got these beautiful mountains.
Yeah.
It's very outdoorsy as well, like around here. So we checked out Colorado, and it was honestly not too bad. But we then went to Utah. We looked at Ogden and Logan. Those areas were also very nice. But to just rewind a minute, Boise was
Boise on the map at this point?
It's weird how Boise became part of the equation because a lot of people from the West Coast have become very aware of Idaho because they're close to it. It's kind of like back when Western Pennsylvania, you're aware of West Virginia or Ohio or Maryland or New York or something like that because it's close. What happened with us was literally I was very laser focused on Utah. For whatever reason, I was just more interested in that than I was Colorado. And I began to just on Realtor.com look at houses in Boise. There's only so many cities out west that have a good-sized population. We did not want to live in Podunkville. I'm still growing a business. I still am very, I'm not retiring anytime soon. So small town USA was not what we wanted to do. We still wanted a decent metropolitan area, a decent airport. I can fly back to Western PA for business. So Boise fit that. And we started checking out homes here. My wife and I, we enjoyed looking at homes. And gosh, it was like, there were some nice homes here. At some point I saw an RV garage and I definitely love that idea. Once Boise hit our radar, we really started checking it out online. And that's how we came across your YouTube channel. Yeah. I'm very much connected with you. You fly fish. We have the same name, which it doesn't hurt anything either. But no, you're a great guy. I connected well with you. And I even told my wife, I said, I can become friends with this guy. But literally, we started watching videos and videos and videos and videos. And ultimately I decided, hey, I want to, give you a call. Once we came here, it felt like home. What's interesting, it wasn't because things were great, because y'all were in a bad wildfire, and literally it was like smoke.
There was some smoke everywhere.
There was pretty bad smoke. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
But we were still good with it.
What stood out to you that caused that to win out over the other places?
Idaho people are definitely different in a good way. And granted, this is a melting pot, but yet you can go to, I don't care if it's a coffee shop. I mean, I was in line dealing with the guy that was just going to go through the car wash thing. And him and I just started talking and talking. And my wife's like, hey, there's people start elbowing me because there's people, we're backing up. But that's the kind of people that you can run into out here that are in the service community that still treat you like a great human. But the reality of it is there was a sense of good quality people here. And the chips were pretty heavy on this area. Salt Lake area didn't check all the boxes completely. Colorado, you've got that main artery of I-70 that just gets very clogged and very heavy with traffic if you want to go west, and you're not going to do much east because of that's prairie out there. Mm-hmm. So when we got here, looking at real estate, checking out things, you got a feel for the people here as well, and it just, I hate to say, or maybe I shouldn't say just felt right, but it did. Mm-hmm. There was that sense between both of us that, this is it.
If you're planning a scouting trip, grab a 15-minute Idaho relocation game plan call. We can map out the neighborhoods that are right for your lifestyle, create a scouting trip route, and if you need it, a cost of living kind of snapshot. So again, you don't waste the trip. We cap these to keep it personal, so grab a spot now. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment.
So you guys came out on the scouting trip. It felt right. Then you started going down the path. How did you guys land on a neighborhood that was a good fit for you?
Coming out here was totally like, where do we want to be? And you're looking at houses online. You don't really have, as much as you can watch your videos and things like that, which are great, you really do got to make a scouting trip. Check out, go to Caldwell, drive, see what the houses are like there, check out the town, go down to Nampa. So we did a lot of checking around and to figure out where we wanted to be. Where my wife wanted to shop was also a key part of that. Mm-hmm. Like the Meridian area was where she would want to shop the most. To me, for us, it was overwhelming because the amount of home builds out here is, the real estate out here is just growing like crazy. So we ended up deciding where we wanted to live was out this direction. We did consider Middleton. That was a little bit farther out. We decided we didn't want to be on, like an acre type property. Mm-hmm. Even though we did consider it. So we really, I think you have to go, come, look, drive around and spend some time and spend some gas money to check it out.
So let's talk about that for a second. So you guys landed at River Park Estates.
Yep.
New Boise Hunter home community. You guys are one of the first residents. You're kind of phase one there.
Maybe 40 of us now living here.
Yeah. Very early on while it's still getting developed. You have had a chance to meet a lot of your neighbors, even as you and I were getting ready to go fishing this morning. Your wife went out on a walk with a bunch of gals. People were walking over from different communities. Fly fishing was definitely a topic, was talked about. You had your pickup truck out front.
Right.
What's that feel like to leave all your community of people? And you've done really well at plugging in. I think a lot of people can start with that. You joined the local fly fishing group. You're out traveling. You're in a community where there's new people moving in who are also looking for relationships. What's that been like for you and your wife?
For me, it's been fun.
Yeah. You're a talker.
I enjoy meeting new people, enjoy talking to new people. This is the first time I've ever lived in a more of a melting pot, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Western PA, a lot of the people live there are fantastic people. It's just more of a community that they've been there for lots and lots of years. Mm-hmm. For here, it's been really fun to, you're around people that they're not been here that long either.
Yeah.
We literally, you can make friends hanging out in Costco and talking to people. That's literally what you can do around here. We plugged into a church. I joined a Boise Valley Fly Fishers. Randomly, when I've, meet people, I will maybe get their contact info. I met a nice gentleman along the river that way. I've had coffee with him. And people around here, a lot of them are similar boat. They haven't been here all that long.
Yeah.
And, they're open to, friendships as well. So many people are into the outdoors out here, which is just, I love that. But we also, part of the reason then that we went to this community was we did want to go into somewhere where you would have a sense of community. We'd be meeting people and that type of thing. If you just go out on an acre of land out in the middle of nowhere and or not necessarily middle of nowhere, but further out, you're not going to have as many community connections as you would going into a neighborhood where everybody's new.
Nobody's walking in front of your house. You met a handful of people just today because
exactly.
You're in your driveway working on something.
Right.
People walk by and say hi. Right. You definitely picked a community on the Boise River.
Right, exactly.
And so
exactly.
This is a unique opportunity. What was your guys' strategy? I know that you guys came over. You did new construction, so it took a little bit of time. You had some downtime.
So we did that exploratory trip. As husband and wife, you don't always agree on everything, but Boise area was it. I mean, we were in agreement.
Cool.
So we went home, put the house up for sale, and it sold very quickly. And we got rid of a ton of stuff.
Talk to me about that real quick. Pause. What advice would you give to somebody if they're thinking about making a move?
Yeah.
And they're like, how do I think about giving stuff away on a cross-country move, right? A complete relocation. Maybe don't even know what your house is yet.
Get rid of more than you think you want to get rid of. We got rid of a ton, but we still should have gotten rid of more. I mean, we didn't even bring a couch. We didn't even bring a bed, and we still brought too much stuff.
And when you say you brought too much stuff, I mean, you got rid of the couch, you got rid of the bed.
Yeah.
What else would you have gotten rid of? Name a couple tangibles here.
Like, we've got 2 wonderful chairs that we didn't even think about getting rid of. It's like, we're going to keep these. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. They might wind up in my garage.
So then you're like, I moved them all the way over.
Maybe I'll put them in my office, but then I got 2 other chairs. I got something else to do with them.
Okay.
So literally, so your furniture, you may want to sell it, maybe not just give it away if it's good stuff. But I mean, the truth of the matter is you think, oh gosh, I like these things. And then you get here and it's like, it doesn't really work in my new house.
Yeah.
So we got rid of a lot of stuff. We took a U-Haul. I towed my antique truck. We had our one truck that was the Tundra towing the camper.
That your son drove for you.
And my son drove.
So you got everything you moved into a U-Haul.
You got it.
What were some of the biggest surprises that you've experienced, good or bad, now that you've lived here?
I'm not going to say it's a surprise, but I lived, we lived through it. This area can deal with inversions.
Before moving here, we didn't get inversion. I'm like, that's what Seattle was like all the time. Inversion, essentially, you get some cloud coverage, everything kind of gets trapped underneath.
Right.
It's gray, air quality probably drops a bit. So all of a sudden, a couple days go by and you're like, oh, I haven't seen the sun in a while. Things are a little gray. What was that like for you guys?
A couple things. One, when it freezes to everything, it makes things beautiful. The trees get this
like almost hoarfrost.
Yeah, it's like a hoarfrost.
Very pretty.
And so there's some beauty to it. But if we have to deal with that a couple weeks a year, whatever, can we deal with that? Absolutely. Now, it wasn't a total surprise, but we did actually deal with it. And after a while, it is like, you're ready for it certainly to move on.
Yeah.
But in Western Pennsylvania, that was Pittsburgh area is one of the cloudier areas of the United States. Overall, the amount of sun out here is just like, wow.
Yeah.
We're not, people from California, things like that. That's different because they are used to that. But when you're from out east where there's the old saying, April showers bring May flowers, where here spring is like when the weather starts warming up, you're immediately able to enjoy being outside and you're not dealing with rainstorms not killing you, but coming through and blowing the crap out of things like you do back east. So the amount of months that you get here to enjoy the outdoors is phenomenal. Back east, springtime could hit, but then you may be dealing with torrential rains. Versus here, you get a little bit of rain, but it's not that bad. And so you can potentially start enjoying the outdoors by maybe early March here. If you're into skiing, which I am, by the time you get some skiing time in, enjoy some of that. Before long, it's back to decent weather again. It's been a nice, pleasant thing that, wow, you get as many months of being able to enjoy the outdoors here as you do. And definitely the amount of sunshine is, for us, it's just crazy cool.
Yeah.
Like
That was a big plus for us, too.
If you're from somewhere where the sun shines all the time, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people, it's a downgrade I came from Seattle, and it's just like,
It's an upgrade.
yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't do those winters anymore. I just want to do sun.
I think my wife, I would drag her back east kicking and screaming. She so loves it out here.
Okay.
So she was really falling in love with out here, really likes it.
What did the cost of living here compare like to where you guys came from? Housing, groceries, just overall expenses for you guys?
Overall cost of living is a good question. I think housing wise, I think the nice thing is there is a broad range of home prices in the Treasure Valley.
Yeah.
But in terms of then your other costs, wow, home taxes are nice. Now they're not high. Home taxes are not high. I was just looking at our first electric bill, and it's been hot. It's been summer.
Running the AC.
Yeah, exactly. And showed it to my wife, and it's like,
What's the square footage on your house?
3,300 square feet.
Okay, so you're cool in a bit.
All in one
level, yeah.
Yeah. So and we have two air conditioners. For some reason, I remember seeing like $180. I mean, it was not. My wife and I talked about it. I was like, no, this is not bad.
Yeah.
And gasoline for your vehicle is, well, part of the time it was been under $3. It's over that now, but that's not been bad.
Yeah.
Groceries, probably similar about everywhere. I mean, groceries are just, they've gotten expensive no matter where you're at. In general, the cost of living has not been bad here. State taxes, interesting, like people that come from the West Coast, state taxes end up being lower here. A little bit higher state tax here than Pennsylvania, actually. Not. I think that we're around 3 there, and I think it's around 5 here, so a little bit, not too much different.
Were there any stereotypes or misconceptions about Idaho you had?
Any surprise would have been more towards just the positive. Like, I mean, the fact that you can go to the DMV, go to get license stuff taken care of, and you can have a pleasant, enjoyable conversation with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't happening in Western Pennsylvania. So, I mean, I think for us, it's just been in general, not that, goodness, everybody's not going to be nice. Don't, we don't live in a utopia, but in general, when you're out and about when you got to go do business and things and deal with things like the DMV, like, holy cow, you can have a nice, pleasant conversation and they're nice people.
You keep going back to, you find people to be kind here.
Yeah.
We were talking to that couple as we were getting ready to go fishing that walked up. They had lived in, I think it was Park City, Utah, and then they lived in Bend, and then they moved here from Bend. And one reason that she said was, one, there's better hospital options here. The airport is better.
Right.
But then one thing she said is, she made a comment like, people in Bend, their general blanket statement was like, people just aren't nice. Her comment about it here is like, man, people are just like nice and welcoming.
Gosh, I mean, now and then you're going to meet a grumpy person, but wow, it's just in general, it's good. There was a couple that we've met from California that moved here, and they had not sold their place in California yet.
Were they testing the waters?
They were testing the waters and living in Eagle, and somebody asked her, well, how is it? And she said, it's refreshing. Idaho is still kind of a bit the way things used to be. You see kids jumping off bridges into the Boise River.
I love that. I love that the city doesn't crack down on that.
Yeah,
most cities you go to, they're like, no bridge jumping here. They're like, you get hurt, that's on you.
That's on you, right?
Thanks.
You go over to Twin Falls, and they've got that bridge there. If you want to parachute off of it, parachute off any day you want.
That was so cool looking. What advice would you give somebody considering a move to Idaho, but they're still on the fence?
Well, definitely do an exploratory trip.
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely not for everybody. I mean, for certain people, I mean, if you live in San Diego, this is going to be, you got to deal with 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And, we came from 4 seasons, and these overall 4 seasons we're happier with. Mm-hmm. But, definitely do an exploratory trip and check out different areas. One couple that we met had moved to northern Idaho and did not find it nearly as friendly.
In my mind, people, for whatever reason, decide they want to move. And then it's like, well, where are you going to move? Usually there's some options on the table. At that point, they get down to a couple options. And at that point, you can only research so much online. Now spend some money, go check it out. And then you can confidently say yes or no to it. And that's so much better than moving somewhere and then deciding it's not a good fit than having to move 2 years later. Way more costly at that point, time wasted, things like that. So for someone watching this video who's thinking about making a move to Idaho and thinking about reaching out for help, say with a scouting trip, what would you tell them about your experience working with the Living in Idaho team?
You are a very trustworthy, person. And just these people this morning that I met for the first time, met for the first time, they had seen your video and liked it, and the wife brought that up. I think the truth of the matter is, you're a good guy. You run a very quality YouTube channel, and you do a good job sharing things about the area. You're down to earth, a great family man. You will connect them to somebody that you feel will do a great job helping them explore the area, and they're going to be able to, rely on you. You will take good care of them and can guide them in the right direction, based on a little bit who they are, what they're looking for, what their budget is, things like that, you can really point them in the right direction.
If you're moving to Idaho, don't guess. Book your free 15-minute relocation game plan. Pick a time, answer a few questions. We'll map out the neighborhoods that could be a good fit for your lifestyle, help you plan out what the scouting trip could actually be like so you don't waste the trip. Again, we put a cap on these. Spaces are limited. We want to keep it personal. So grab a spot, use the link below. If you're not ready to do that, then watch these videos next to learn more about what it's like to live in Idaho.